Come on, you guys. Let's go, man. Let's go. Like, listen, I'm not going to bust out the classic celebration in the context of what's going on right now. When it gets past international break, if we maintain this and create a new form, then we can talk. But equally at the same time, I'm not going to cry about the result we got tonight. I mean, it's actually refreshing to see goals being scored. And today, we can thank Pedro Nkunku with his nice, brave finish at the near post. We can thank Pedro Neto, who was excellent playing the striker role. He looks like an absolute natural, which is the mad thing, to be honest with you. Super finish with his left foot. It's been a long time since we've seen anyone scoring their left foot outside of Cole Palmer. Levi Cole with a monstrous leap in between the Southampton defence. Is that something he can get better at and improve as he develops and gets older? And obviously cucurella with a great little finish with great composure inside the box, and really is proving why he's like a jack of all trades and really has shown in Maresca's system this season. So listen, the guys was on point today in front of goal. Hopefully we expand from this, and hopefully when it gets past international break, we create a bit of a platform. We got Leicester City coming up. After that, we have 2 games against Copenhagen. There's opportunities in these 3 games to stat pads, get goals, secure our progression in the Conference League, and most importantly, lift and bring that confidence up. Because if we can pray that we get that statement win against Arsenal, then I think it's new rules in terms of how the season ends. We're seeing small glimpses of life to come. Wesley Fofana being on the bench today, that was a great symbolic gesture. And there's more guys set to come back very slowly in the month of March. So there is still a lot left to fight for, and we have to take it all the way. And fingers crossed we do this. Yeah, all I can do is have hope in my team. I haven't given up just yet. So all we can do right now is have hope in these boys to put things right and get us there. But let's discuss the game. Let's break things down, my friends. A lot of interesting things we saw today. The lineup, I think, was one that most of us guessed right. Let's be realistic. There's barely anyone left in the squad. The only difference was little tweaks we saw with the attack, right? Because Nkunku continued down the left-hand side, Cole Palmer played more central, and Sancho played down the right-hand side. Now, I can't really say if it works or not. Obviously, it'd be a bit redundant because we've just bagged a 4-0 win. But obviously, it was interesting because I thought maybe Cole Palmer might start down the right-hand side with Sancho on the left. But everything works in favour. I thought Sancho was actually quite sharp with his dribbling against Southampton today. They couldn't stop him. Twinkle toes. It was that one excellent piece of skill from him around the halfway line. I kind of feel like he got a bit fortunate in terms of how the cross, the touch, the first time Cruyff touch kind of like fell in his favor. But I mean, when you're playing on form, you force your own luck. And he was a constant outlet and weapon for us down that right-hand side. I got to show some love to my boy in Pedro Nkunku. Finally, this guy is, showing what he can do. Now, again, it's still small tastes and glimpses of Nkunku. I've seen this guy for many years at Leipzig. I know what he can do, and we're still not seeing the full force of what Christo can introduce and bring in this team. But I feel like if we can try and expand upon what we have in Nkunku, he will help us hit these goals before the season ends. I really feel like this guy is a real match winner. He knows how to move inside the box. Very intelligent type of player. He plays in gears, very unpredictable, and he's very clinical with what he does in the final third. There's a real talent we have here that we're not using enough of. And there was one moment in the game between himself and Cole Palmer where, yet again, Cole Palmer, and I'll touch upon Palmer later on, but he didn't square the ball to Christo in that moment. And I was really frustrated. So it was great that literally from the second attack from that set piece, Nkunku was able to get the first goal of the game for us. And with that goal came new leases of life. And it kind of opened up the game a bit more as Southampton were kind of forced to have to push up now and try and make something from this game. After that, he bags himself an assist. And this is what I mean by what Nkunku can bring in the team. Because, in many games, we've seen players pick the wrong option, right? But in Nkunku, he has that little bit of pauser in his game, right? And of course, he noticed the movement of Pedro Neto curving his running behind, plays the right pass to Neto. And again, very easy stuff, but this is the easy stuff that we haven't been, taken full advantage of in these last few games. And I'd say Pedro Neto, excellent power laces finish away from the keeper. And yeah, Neto, for him to get a goal and an assist today, I thought that assist, superb whip to find Levi Colwill. I mean, he's played some absolute world-class crosses this season, yeah, Pedro Neto. And playing up front, he looks like an absolute natural. Now, one thing that actually low-key really surprised me about Neto when we signed him was how strong he is. I mean, the upper body strength he has. Like, he was in this constant battle with Bella Botchkamp, whatever his name is, the guy at centre-back. And he really relishes that physical side of the game, which makes him even harder to contain. But that movement he shows, like running everywhere across the left side, the right side, essentially dropping deeper. It's good that Maresca found out pretty quickly that Pedro Neto is the guy you turn to up front now when Nico's not here. And again, credit to Maresca for not forcing things, because I know a million managers would still be forcing Nkunku up front, praying it's somehow going to work. But yeah, I like this outlet Neto's given us because we can play our football again, which is the important thing. But one thing I noticed from both Neto, Nkunku, and others shining today kind of focuses back on Cole Palmer. Now, what I'm about to say is maybe just some observational stuff that I've noticed myself as a fan over the years. But sometimes when like a special player or any player is, I wouldn't even say completely out of form, but not really getting the accolades for what they're producing on the field, not getting the goals, not getting the assists, having these types of moments, it's very easy, especially when you're young, to want to force things even more because you want to, right these wrongs. You know that with how you're playing, you're not feeling negative in your game. You don't feel like you're underwhelmed by yourself. You're still feeling natural with what you're doing, but the end product just isn't going your way at this point in time. And a lot of times you want to force that situation correct. And this is where I feel like at times Cole Palmer may be to the detriment of wanting to like get back in and prove himself again. That has come at the expense of his teammates. I've noticed a few times that he's not finding particular teammates when he should have. And actually, my advice is that when you find yourself in this mental battle with yourself, ideally, you kind of want to play as the passenger. You want to enhance what you have around you. You play to them, and naturally by doing that, by taking the focus and pressure away from yourself, you naturally just find your groove again because, the game works again and the equilibrium and balance is back on that field. So it was nice to see that the other attacking players were able to make an influence today. Yes, I know it's Southampton. Obviously, I'm not forgetting that back in my mind, but it doesn't take away from the fact that we don't have to be so reliant on Cole Palmer. We do have players that can take those set pieces like Pedro Neto. How often has he been allowed to even take a set piece this season? When you think to yourself, this guy's like one of the top crossers in the entire league. That assist he produced for Colwill, that is in his locker. That's in his bag. Christo, he's got incredible box movement. I think this guy's got world-class box movement. That's why he is the player he is. Find him more. Keep your head up. Don't think to, take the goals for yourself. And play that way. Keep it simple. And don't put yourself at the forefront. Naturally, you are at the forefront from that. You know what I mean? I'm saying this, Palmer wasn't bad today. But I could see that, a lot of things weren't working his way. He had like 4 or 5 shots in the game, very unlucky if he was on form. A lot of these efforts are naturally going in the back of the net, but it's normal for every player to kind of find themselves in these positions. So I feel like maybe international break comes at the perfect time, just so players can get out of this environment, get their heads straight again, kind of relax. I remember when Nico Jackson left for the Senegalese national team last year for the AFCON. And when he came back, he was going on like a little bit of a mini scoring spree. Like when he came back big second half of last season, or not came back big, but when he improved compared to what he did in the first half of last season, it felt like just being able to get away from the pressure of the club, new environment, that helped him. So I'm hoping that these guys come back like sharper, fitter, not fitter, but more confident in what they're doing and have like a better headspace to play their football and do what they do best, because we need these guys to be on top form so we can bag this CL sport. I think we're all completely desperate for this, right? But outside of that, man, of course, cucurella, scoring a goal from a counter-attack. And it was nice to see Tyreek George, of course, getting the assist in this game. I think one thing about Tyreek is that when he comes on, he looks confident in himself. It looks like he wants to make something happen. He's not here to just play the safe pass. And I think this is why Maresca does give him these little fleeting moments here and there. And it's nice for him to bag his first assist in the Premier League. That's big for him. And as the game was ending, it really became like Cobham FC and Youth FC. Amugu getting his debut. I'm not really seeing too much from him. I think the moment he came on, there was an opportunity to take a shot first time. But, you know, that's like something you do when you have like 200 games under your belt. But it was interesting to see him at least come on the field and do something. Achimpong, I feel like anytime Josh is playing, he always wants to leave an impact in the game. I really like that about him. Like, we all know that he has those long strides, and he will demonstrate that. He will get in the opponent's half and try and force something there. Hopefully he can get a few more minutes, especially in the Conference League, where, you know, Maresca is going to have to turn towards some of these players to balance things up, because we can't have our star guys fighting it out, you know, against Copenhagen and then coming back to the league. I feel like, you know, Maresca can also learn from certain mistakes and maybe utilize the squad a bit better. And I say that because maybe in hindsight, your Chukwuemeka's and Renato Vegas could have had more influence with a few more minutes here and there. And they were kind of denied that quite a lot, actually, which was a bit unfair. So hopefully Maresca's learned a few little things. And obviously we can't forget Mueka making his debut at 17 years old. That's always a big thing. Like, when you're under 18 and you're making your debut for big clubs like us, that is something you don't take lightly. You're not getting those minutes for free, I'll tell you that, right? And the fact that his first involvement was that header, it's nice to see that physically he could be an option for us, because he won't drown playing at the higher level, because he does have something in his body, which, you know, I was saying earlier this season for the academies, he has been learning to play back to goal a bit more and showcasing that side to his game, which is going to be key when he makes that step up to the highest league rise. So, you know, it's one of those perfect games as a fan. You know, a lot of attacking moments, a lot of goals, a lot of entertainment, youth players getting opportunities, no injuries, and most importantly, you're keeping a clean sheet. And it's kind of funny because Jorgensen, probably to end things on, had a very interesting game. On one hand, from the human side, I sympathize, because it's like, you know, you're making your debut at a very pressurized point of the season. You're not been playing too much. You have to quickly find your mental confidence and get in the game. That's the human side. But from like the elite level sporting side, you think to yourself, well, listen, you should have known at some point there could be an opportunity coming your way, and you're not going to get like handhelds with your first proper moments in the first team. You have to come in, you have to be ready. And let's keep it real. We saw Petrovic kind of seamlessly come in, and a lot of us were actually surprised that he was even moved on to Strasbourg, considering we saw enough personality in him to feel like, okay, what could he do now with a full season under his belt? He's having a great season at Strasbourg. So good, in fact, that could we consider bringing him back? We see what happens there. But Jorgensen was a bit funny. At times, some of the build-up and passing, like, I felt for him because the fans was onto him, which was probably hurting his confidence even more. But then equally, like, dilly-dallying too much at times. I didn't really get it too often. And it is a reminder that we don't have that top-class guy between the sticks that you really need to have at this level, or for the level of your ambitions. He made a top save against Oniachu, like a really good save point blank with a cross, and his confidence slowly grew once the pressure, I think, from the fans minimized when we had like a few goals under the belt. So that was something to consider, and hopefully these guys just come back now feeling a bit more hopeful after international break. So that's me, my friends. Share your thoughts and opinions. How do you feel about the game? And I'll see you all soon. Cool.